Trauma. Is it real? Is it annoying? Can we use it to help us in any way? And at the very least, is it survivable? Before I start this video, I want to preference that I'm not an expert on the topic, and I could very well go through something worse in the future that makes me want to delete this video entirely. I just want to speak on what I've found so far. Disappointingly, we all go through something in life, regardless of age, no matter how young and innocent you are, and no matter how old you feel and how much experience you feel you've picked up in order to retire. There's always something, a new big bad. I like to think of this analogy like a superhero TV series where we're introduced to a villain and he's so bad and mean, they become the origin of evil, the reason for so much despair. And we believe once defeated, the hero can finally go back to life like before they were even introduced. Just for the next season to come along and there's an even bigger, badder, more ancient origin of evil to defeat. And then the next season after that, and so on and so on. When I was driving with my dad, he told me the art of regret. Humans will aim for less, believing that's their worth. Humans sort of have this main character syndrome. Like when you're in 6th grade, the assignments are so hard. It's so much harder than it was last year. No way it can get any harder than this. And then you get to 7th grade, and you look back and you go, hey, bro, 6th grade work was beatable. 7th grade, now that's impossible. Every year becomes this big monster. Eventually, we think, why was I freaking out? Best description for going through stomach-turning grief is the image that shows that grief does not get smaller, but in reality, we grow larger in order to contain it. I sort of have this tick that when I go through something heavy in life, my brain will sort of, like, build future scenarios almost immediately to find a logical way to continue living with this new hurdle in order to prepare. One of my all-time favorite illustrations of trauma is Steven Universe. He's a half-alien, half-human boy who sort of defends the world from alien attacks. It's a kid's cartoon, so obviously they don't really show the depth of the psychological damage this could do to someone at a young age. Steven Universe Future. You know, he's now an older teen. He's sort of established universal peace. There's no alien attacks, and he solved alien racism. He now don't discriminate. So you can probably assume his problems are less serious. You know, he's now focused on problems like what Earth job suits aliens best, or oh, my best friend is going off to college, you know, not world-ending problems. He starts swelling, and his skin starts turning pink. He goes to the doctor for the first time ever, and she's done an x-ray and finds his skeleton is filled with fractures, but intact, as if they've healed the moment they were broken. He responds nervously, well, that's a good thing, isn't it? And she says, maybe. You've healed physically, but have you healed mentally? When it comes to childhood experiences or trauma, it has a lasting impact on how our body responds to stress. When humans are in crisis, the brain releases the hormone cortisol, our heart races, our muscles go tense, maybe our breathing patterns change, maybe his body was going through an alien equivalent. She asked him if he can remember any adversities he faced as a child, and at first we get a flashback of the original kid show, first showing the light-hearted side, like his favorite ice cream being cancelled, or him turning to a cat. Then, an eerie soundtrack plays, and now we get this terrifying perspective, and it goes to the real heavy things, like watching his friends die, being captured and imprisoned with a black eye in space, being targeted and almost killed multiple times. When his body feels stressed, in order to protect him, it flashbacks to that time in his life, and stresses as if his life is once again on the line. It was getting dark, so I waited till tomorrow to finish the video. Anyways, I think we often do that. Trauma seems to be so prevalent, our bodies will default back to those times in our lives when we were going through tough situations, and because it feels that stress build up, we react as if we're going through similar things once again. Our trauma becomes a blueprint our body defaults to, not because we're weak, but because our bodies are trying to protect us with the only tools they had at the time. I don't think the goal is to erase our trauma or pretend it never happened. I think the goal is to understand why we react the way we do and give ourselves grace. To realize that if we're shaking or panicking or shutting down, it's not because we're failing, it's because our bodies are trying their best with old instructions. Healing isn't about shrinking the trauma, it's about refining those versions of ourselves that got hurt. And if nothing else, we made it through every season finale of our lives. I'm not asking not to grieve. You should have every right to do so for everyone else in the world. Only you know how much pain you're in. But remember, you're allowed to be proud of previously surviving. You are, after all, the person of your story. And what a remarkable story that is. And if no one has told you that yet, I'm telling you now. Anyways, thanks for watching. Make sure to comment your favorite sandwich.